Hi, and welcome to the Your Good News podcast with me, Katherine Getty. It's easy to believe the news around us that the world is dark and the future is the same. But what if we chose something different? What if we chose to find the good news in each day? This podcast is a collection of interviews with friends, mentors, colleagues on their good news. From business to health to politics and everything in between, it's my hope that you leave with a boost and find your good news. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Good News podcast. It's me, your host, Katherine Getty. I want to first thank you for joining maybe your first time or another time. I know there's a lot out there you can listen to, and to spend some time soaking up the good, listening to this episode, learning more about the podcast means a lot to me. And I thank you so much. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So each Thursday, it is already in your inbox. It makes it easy. So go ahead, click that subscribe, click that follow. As always, first up, good news for the week. And good news has honestly felt harder and harder to find as of late. I think especially given the invasion of Ukraine. And I think acknowledging that is really important. I've said it before, and I will say it again. The Your Good News podcast is about highlighting the good around us, but it isn't blindly just a positivity podcast. If that's what you think this is, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I think good can be however we want to measure it. And I'm going to double down on the idea of the simple goods this week. I think the good of the sun peeking through or the weather being nicer. And I know in comparison to Ukraine, this probably sounds silly, but I think that taking a moment to be grateful for the little things can really build you up. And that's kind of what I'm going to try to do, especially during a time where I've felt super jaded because this massive world shift that feels like it's happening in this darkness, it can be really hard to not stay in that narrative. And I believe staying in that narrative doesn't serve you, doesn't serve your community, and it doesn't serve this world. So what is your good? Are there ways you can share your good with this world that desperately needs it? That's my challenge to you for the week. So to the meat of the episode, I really love when inspiration comes from the most unlikely places. And this week is one of those times. The episode really is all about the idea of limiting beliefs and their impact on your current self and how you show up. And in a recent workout class, an instructor said, don't let what you can't do influence what you can do. This theme, this idea of limiting beliefs, has definitely been something I've highlighted before. But I thought this twist on it had some merit in sharing, and it made me stop and really think hard. And I'll say it again. Don't let what you can't do influence what you can do. I think just even saying that again out loud, it's like I definitely have moments where the views of the can'ts are way bigger than my can'ts. And why do I do that? Why do we do that? I think that that's not uncommon to all of us. So I'm going to give an example because I think it helps kind of actualize it. In the frame of running, which I've been doing a lot of, and can't believe I'm saying these words, I'm enjoying. I used to think, well, I can't run 10 miles, so why run one? And it seems like I kind of want to laugh because it seems silly to say out loud, but I think focusing on the small actions that build up or the big things that you can do, they build up. And it's important for us to continue to dream big, to use our strengths, to share our dreams with others, and not letting that can't be your story. So personally, I want to cultivate a mentality that focuses on the can do versus the can't do. I hope that I can refocus on that mentality that comes from that can do attitude. And I feel like even saying can do multiple times in the last few sentences feels trite, but I think it's true. Well, what projects, what ideas, what ways have you limited your dreams yourself because you can't do X piece of that dream? I mean, I think we do that a lot. And it's my hope that in calling out this sort of limiting belief that we stop, that we take a breath, that we refocus on what we can do and break it apart in those pieces. So food for thought. And like I said at the outset, thank you Thank you. Thank you for joining this episode of the Your Good News podcast. If you liked, please share. Like I said, subscribe, leave a review. Follow me on Instagram at Katherine Getty is my handle for more content on this topic, kind of thoughts I have on it. And join us next week for another episode of the Your Good News podcast.